Hello everyone, my name is Janika and welcome to this video. Today's plan was originally to make a proper video about Scheveningen and the whole beachy area here in The Hague. But as you can see, probably from my umbrella and maybe even here from the raindrops, it is not the ideal weather today for that kind of video. We have actually been having amazing weather in the Netherlands pretty much all spring. This is one of the first super rainy weekends in a while, but actually I don't mind. I saw that the nature seems like it needs some rain. For example, some grass was looking a little bit yellow. I had to make some changes in my plan on what to film today. So instead I thought now to spend a lovely rainy Saturday here in The Hague and do a bunch of cozy activities that you can do when it's a rainy day. I'm currently at a street called the Hendriklaan, and it's actually one of my favorite streets here in The Hague. It's full of little restaurants and shops. My plan now is to start off the day by having some brunch at one of the great restaurants that you can find here. Let's have a fun Saturday together despite the weather. Bon appetit! I like how fluffy the bread is. Eggs Benedict is one of my absolute favorite brunch breakfast foods. This one's a good one. It's really nice and creamy. And the saltiness of the turkey bacon fits perfectly with the fluffy bread and the creaminess of the sauce and the eggs. Well, that Eggs Benedict portion was really delicious. It was also the perfect kind of cozy vibe place where to go on a rainy day. Although they would also have quite a nice big looking terrace here. So I think also on a sunny day this would be a super nice spot for breakfast, brunch or lunch or just a coffee. After eating, I walked around a bit by the Hendriklaan, and as you can see, there are lots of different restaurants, cafes and shops available here. Of course, if it were a sunny day, this place would be in its full glory, as usually there's a bunch of people out and about, enjoying life on the many terraces here. But even on a rainy day like today, I found it quite cozy. So just a short walk away from the Hendriklaan where we just were, I've now come to this area that has basically three quite big museums attached to each other or right next to each other, but it's like this little museum complex. There's something called the Omniversum, which is a bit like a special kind of cinema. It's one of those places where you sit leaning backwards and then the whole screen is all around you basically. That one I have actually already once visited during museum night, but then there's also the Kunstmuseum and the Photography Museum of The Hague here, and today's plan is for me to visit both of them. As it's a rainy day, I thought it is the perfect opportunity to do that, and I haven't been there before, so yeah, I must say it is not the easiest to film when it's raining, because having to try and hold on to the camera and to the umbrella, and then it's windy, and yeah, it's a bit chaotic. But let's go and check out these museums. I think I'm gonna start with the Photography Museum and then we'll go to the Kunstmuseum. But yeah, let's get out of this horrible weather and go inside. The photography museum doesn't have a large permanent collection, but instead has its exhibitions always changing. Currently, when I visited, they had 3 different exhibitions going on. My favorite one was this one about migrating butterflies, which was really interesting. As this museum has always its exhibitions changing, I recommend doing some research beforehand to check out if they would have anything that interests you before you visit. The museum is known for often having photography displayed that engages with social themes and gives space for experimental journalistic photography as well. So to visit the Kunstmuseum, it seems like at the moment they require that you make a reservation. And I was already thinking like, oh no, I did not do that. But luckily I was able to get a spot for 20 minutes from now. That was lucky. I would have been very bummed if I couldn't have visited this today. It did say this is something going on until June 9th. But if you're planning on coming to the Kunstmuseum, maybe just to play it safe, check online beforehand to make sure if you need a reservation or not, and get your ticket in advance if needed, because I got lucky now, but I could have gotten also very unlucky. It seems quite busy, there's a lot of people. I'm thinking maybe there's some very popular exhibition here going on right now, and that's why it requires a reservation and is so busy. I don't even know, but let's go and find out. Like the photography museum, the Kunstmuseum also has rotating exhibitions, but additionally also has its own permanent collection, which features more than 150,000 pieces. This museum is also quite old and was built back in 1935, and the building itself is huge and has a very unique look to it. It seems like there's at least one exhibition called New Paris, so New Paris, basically artwork made by Parisian artists, and it's just perfect because actually next week we're going to Paris. That will be the video you'll also be seeing after this one. So yeah, that's kind of a fun coincidence, but let's go and check it out. Their current exhibition about Paris was about Paris in the late 19th century and featured the work of famous artists such as Monet. After seeing the exhibition about Paris, I went to check out the other ones that they had, and I came across this one called The New Babylon. It was a little bit more different than the one I just saw, but also pretty cool in its own way. Museum is much bigger than I thought. They even have this huge cafeteria area where you can buy what looks like quite proper food. You can have lunch here, you can have different sweets and pastries and drinks, so that's quite nice. I'm planning to go to another cafe after this, so I'm not gonna eat anything here now. If it's a rainy day and you're in The Hague, there are so many museums you can visit here that are all like connected to each other. You could easily spend your whole day visiting all these different museums. I saw that there's at least one more exhibition that I haven't seen that I'm quite interested in. It's an exhibition about desserts. My friend visited it and she told me about it, that it's apparently quite fun. So looking forward to still seeing that. thought all of these would be really nice little sweet scents. And then the first one I tried was old cheese. It did not smell good. This exhibition about desserts is much more grand than what I was expecting. It's really beautiful actually, and it's also really making me crave something sweet. The museums were really nice. The Kunstmuseum especially, that one's definitely much bigger than the photography one, but I enjoyed both. I think especially the exhibition about Paris was super fun, maybe partially because I'm going to Paris in a few days, so it got me in that Parisian mood a bit, which was perfect. And also the dessert one, because we're also going to Paris, and Paris is quite famous for their desserts and pastries and everything. So yeah, but I don't think I can wait until Paris to have something sweet. Now next I'm gonna head to this really big bookshop. I discovered it a while back after we moved to this area, and ever since I've been wanting to go there with like proper time and not just like quickly visit it, maybe even buy a book. And in that bookshop they also have a cafe inside, and what better day to visit that place than on a rainy day like today. The one time I briefly visited this bookshop and saw this cafe was on a nice sunny day, and back then it was so calm. I thought it was gonna be really calm today as well, but seems like other people had the same idea as me on this rainy day. But I ended up buying a book. I bought a book that I've been wanting to buy for so long, and finally I bit the bullet. I got The Fourth Wing. I know I'm a bit late to the game, but this is basically the first part of a dragon fantasy series. I love fantasy books, that's my favorite genre, especially like fantasy romance. Heard so much good things about this. There's been such a big hype around this book series, so I hope it lives up to its name. Seems like it has nicely several different layers. Ooh, that's really sweet. I feel like I can't really taste the cheesecake so much. It's more like a raspberry cake. Feels like autumn because I'm drinking a hot chocolate. seems like it has stopped raining actually. The plan now for me is to quickly head home, freshen up a bit, take a small little break, and then I'm gonna head into the city center of The Hague together with my boyfriend. We've now come into The Hague city center and we're gonna have some dinner soon, or right about now. We're going to a proper Chinese restaurant. We've passed by it many times, but this is the first time we're gonna try it out. A lot of Chinese restaurants in the Netherlands have influences from Indonesia, so it's like Indo-Chinese food, but this should be like purely Chinese food. So I'm quite excited about it, hoping the food will be good and authentic. We'll see. Realized after a while that we might have been eating more with our eyes than our stomachs and ended up ordering way too much food. But then at the same time, we really wanted to try out so many different kinds of things. But yeah, no regrets. The food was definitely more proper Chinese food versus the Indo-Chinese food, which is often what is served here in the Netherlands. I am so full. The food was really good. We ordered a little bit too much, but we were able to get some as takeaway to bring with us. And yeah, it was a really nice restaurant, but it was quite hectic. It was super popular, super much people, and you're sitting in this like really big room, so it's quite loud as well. So it was a bit overstimulating maybe, but otherwise really nice. Now we're gonna take a bit of a after food walk to help us digest all this food, and then we're going to the cinema after that.